everyone, welcome back to Schwab. Schwavy Schwav. Hosted by Phelan, Porteous and international splash tweet superstar Allison Pregler.
Yeah, you're famous now.
I'm famous now for posting about Darryl Hannah's butt on Disney Plus.
Tweeted about Splash once.
Tweeted about Splash once, and now I became too big for this podcast. This will be my final podcast.
Alright. I'll continue it without you.
Yeah, continue the work that I started, Phelan. Maybe one day you two can become as big a deal as me.
It's interesting because all the Charmed Ones' faces were covered by digital fur in this episode.
Oh, I didn't... that was what was off. I thought there was something. I'm not as eagle-eyed now that my eyes are filled with stars. I did want to mention some stuff before we get into the episode. If you guys would like to hear the full Carman theme, it's finally been released by Peter. You can find it at soundcloud.com/Peter-Hunter. Pretty good.
Amazing.
He's got to put up the Swan Man version too.
Yeah.
We also got some Carman fan art. Some more Carman fan art this week.
Also amazing.
There's
really
another
cool.
one. Yeah, it was awesome. By at Spear HAFOC_. I'm not really sure. Here Havoc. Spear Havoc. Something like that. Pretty good. I like everyone's different interpretations. Like some of them he looks pretty good, like professional, and other ones he's in more of a shambles.
Mm-hmm.
This one he's kind of a transformer type.
Yeah, the multiple eras of Carman, the golden era and the Bronze Age and all that.
Oh, okay. Is it like Transformers? You have like G4, G1, G whatever.
I was thinking of like the ages of the comics, Silver Age and all that.
Oh, I see. This version will be called Shit Piece.
There's a car man waiting in his car. He'd like to come and meet us, but he's just a fucking car. There's a car man waiting in his car. He'd like to come and meet us, but he's just a
I wanted to mention too, Patreon supporter and friend of the show, Vinny, this is his Twitter handle, okay, Queered Up Guy. He did a Schwab bingo card. Did you see that, Phelan?
Yeah, it was funny.
Pretty good. We got such selections as Phoebe voice, not to mention Buffy, but complaint about how Maggie is the worst. Inquiry about Jordan's girlfriend. Thanks, Parker
Definitely
Bomber.
won't be saying anything bad about Maggie in this
No,
one.
nothing. Vagina lightning. Jordan is a creep. I am so bored. Calling Julian Jesse. Pretty good. Lots of great ones. I'll have to link to these different things on Twitter when I post about this episode. Tonight we watched Season 2, Episode 18, Don't Look Back in Anger. This is the penultimate Season 2 episode. We only got one more before Coronavirus Demon shut him down. This one was directed by Rupert Evans.
Oh.
Did you realize that when we were watching it?
No.
His distinct directorial style. It was fine.
Realize.
I think like he had some good shots in there. Like it was competently done.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to cut this thing out of your head.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. What did you think of this episode before we jump into it? Do you have any feelings before we start?
I didn't think it was one of the worst or anything. A lot of it kind of seemed pointless. I feel like we, got somewhere by the end of it with at least Harry and Macy, but I feel like it's very confused in its execution of some of these ideas, especially the Maggie and her dad plot line.
A lot of retroactive continuity, and I'm not a big fan of that.
No.
I don't know if it added anything great to it.
It didn't, and it's another we met so-and-so before we met so-and-so backstory, which are usually bad.
They did abort the amnesia plotline very quickly, and I'm not sure what the point of it was. I mean, I'm glad it was not a prolonged thing, but why did it happen?
I don't know, I guess, just looking at this episode, it seems like even without his memory, I guess Harry's going to eventually do the right thing and try and help Macy is the only thing I really got out of it.
They should have called this, When Harry Met Macy.
Yeah, again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, their love transcends memories or something. If only the rest of the season had reflected any of this. I'm really glad it wasn't just, like, Abigail convinces Harry they were married or together or something, and then dumb shit happens, because I thought that was the direction it was going in.
Yeah, I didn't see her name, so when you mentioned that, I was like, I don't think she's showing up.
Well, I didn't think for this episode. I thought he was going to take off, and then in the next one, they were going to set something up.
Yeah, but when he tried to take off, he's looking at a picture of him and Macy. He's like, ugh.
He turned into, like, Keanu Reeves and Bill and Ted.
Exactly. Whoa,
okay, well...
I know Macy.
Whoa.
Macy, I'm back.
Let it be known that I'm a plain-faced villain.
I love you.
Something strange is afoot in Charmed. Okay, well, let's jump into the episode. Quite a bit happens. So at the very beginning, we get some clarification what Harry actually remembers. It seems like everything up until he became a white lighter is what he remembers. So he thinks that his name's James, whatever his full name is supposed to be.
Got reset to Jimmy Jams.
Yeah. It also gives him a different accent.
Yeah.
I don't know if this, like, sort of cockneys him up. It doesn't seem like real strong cockney, but...
Yeah, I know it did seem like he's talking a little bit differently.
So when he became a white lighter, was this just an affectation that does he normally just like, hello, it's me, Harry. Now I've become, it's me, Jimmy, but now I'm Harry. Or did they just wipe out his old accent so he didn't remember that he had that accent?
I don't know.
He's been a poser this whole time.
They
might have shown, like, what he sounded like when they had the flashbacks initially to what he was like. I don't remember if he was doing this accent before.
I mean, it's been enough years. His accent could have changed over the years. But...
Yeah, and he didn't have to live in old-timey England.
Yeah.
So the girls are asking him, like, what he might remember. Is there anything that you kind of remember? And he mentions something about a 40-stone parasite. Well, he doesn't really know exactly what that means. They don't know what it means. He tries to leave, but they force field him in. He's a hostage now.
Yeah. Normally that would seem more sinister, I guess, but he is someone running around who doesn't have half his brain working. So, I suppose in this case it's probably best.
He's become a showrunner on this show. Half his brain isn't working.
I'm gonna run off and write some more episodes. I got some great ideas.
Wait, it should be all about the white characters.
It should be all about retroactive continuity and things not adding up.
Yeah. Not seamless. Macy remembers a spell in the Book of Elders that might help in this situation, help unlock some memories. So she's going to have a separate plot again, of course, hanging with Harry, while the other two go to find out stuff about the faction. So she's hanging out with him while he runs into the force field like an idiot. He just keeps running into it. Yeah,
Jimmy's not the brightest.
That's why he was a criminal, getting into criminal activities. So Macy doesn't want to admit what they were. Like, they're sort of like, well, what were we? And, we were a team. As if she didn't give him that big speech about how she loved him.
Yeah, and Jimmy also is kind of like, the fact he's asking coyly, like he doesn't know their relationship, even though she told him she loved him.
That was the very last scene of the last episode. That's how she found out he had amnesia.
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly he must know, too, that there was more going on than we were a team. Why does he need to ask?
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of, not to mention Angel, but, do you remember they had an amnesia plot in that, which was really bad, where Cordelia gets amnesia?
Yeah.
And then, like, they were about to get together before this happened, and then she gets amnesia, and then, like, Angel asks her if they were in love, and she's like, well, we were, and walks away. Tragic. This was kind of like that, except dumb. It's kind of dumb on Angel, too.
It was dumb on Angel.
That's why long-form amnesia plot... I don't know, this one was fine because it was just one episode, but it had some things that didn't make a lot of sense.
At least they ended it here. I can handle a one-off amnesia thing more than I can handle a ongoing arc with it.
Maybe he's like a goldfish. He immediately forgets what just happened, and so it's just like a continuing amnesia. That's why he doesn't know that they were together, or that she loved him because she confessed it to him. So she makes some sort of blue goo, some memory goo to rub on him, and she seals him in the room with like a chest against the door, like, you're not running away. I'm gonna put this shit on your forehead.
Yeah. She's like,
she's like, well,
good, I promise.
She's like, all right, so this is going to unlock some memories, but it could give you some psychological damage if it's too traumatic. We know that Harry has no traumatic memories, so this will be fine.
Yeah.
So let's take our 400th journey into Harry's mind. Can't get enough of that.
He remembers any of the show and it's like, oh, no.
Why the hell did you do that?
We didn't need another journey into Harry's mind. They don't do it, but they're threatening it. How many times do we have people forcing their way into his mind for something?
They flipped it on us, though, and we get a trip into Macy's past in her head for some reason.
Yeah.
And she's singing, Forget You!
Oh, yeah. She had to do the cover version, the censored version, because they can't say fuck.
Yeah.
I like when she puts the goo on his forehead, she says, release the blockage. Kind of does like a Lion King, kind of spread the goop on the forehead.
Remember who you are.
Remember who you are, Jimmy Jams.
That's when Darryl's face appears in the sky.
Remember who I am. No?
Who am
That's
I?
fine.
Then
I don't know.
Galvin appears beside him. Whoa, that is wild.
Oh my god, can we get a Darryl Galvin team up, please?
Yeah.
If
With
they'd
their
done these
heads in the
flashbacks,
clouds.
if they'd done these flashbacks and then Macy's dad was played by Dorian Gregory, how great would that be? Yo, Macy, whoa. I gotta call your mom for this one.
Macy, I'm a cop.
I'm a cop. Why can't you be a cop like me? Oh man, you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Yeah, this would have been a good episode. There's a lot of forgetting, so
Yeah.
no one would have known. Perfect time for Dorian Gregory.
We were robbed of Dorian Gregory. If you're going to get anyone from the original series in, get us some Darryl. It's Darryl's daughter. That's what it is. She is Macy Morris. Okay, so this, trying to unlock his memories, throws her across the room. She ends up touching her own forehead and unlocking her memories. That's when she's singing the cover, which is apparently a traumatic memory that she's singing some CeeLo Green there.
Forget You always makes me think the TV version of Scream, where Sydney goes like, Forget You, and he goes, no, we already played that game. The Forget You game. Who are you?
I was just thinking about that police squad, like, forget it. Nobody says forget it to me! We get past Macy with braids.
Yeah, she had the dreads back then.
Yeah, I liked the braids. I think she looks better with the braids. I liked them. she's not quite acting like the wallflower we thought she was. She's singing in front of a crowd at a bar, having a good old time. Meanwhile, in the real world, she's just passed out on the floor. And Harry's like, I can't go to prison again! Takes her wallet and runs out.
It's hard to tell what's going on at first, too, because it's like, where is she? Is this like some alternate universe dumb thing? Like, I didn't know it's just the past at first.
Yeah, I figured because the song that she was singing and the different hair was supposed to be a little bit in the past.
Mm.
But yeah, there was some parts where when it wasn't adding up, I'm like, is it just like this isn't real, actually? Like, until I guess it was. But some of it I was like, what? Why would this happen?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure till she got home and her dad was there. And she's like, I stopped drinking and being bad. She's like, oh, I'm a cop.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Yeah, when Harry takes off, he takes her wallet and he's about to leave. But he sees a picture of all of them together. So he decides to come back. Back to Braid Macy. This guy at the bar is creeping on her. It's someone that she knows. I don't know, from school or something. He smacks her ass. She gets mad about it. Accidentally sets his shirt on fire with her demon powers.
She should have set his ass on fire.
Yeah, that would have been better. If that was her first inkling she has powers, she sets a guy's ass on fire.
Yeah. It's, whoa, my butt's on fire!
And she goes, forget you!
Yeah.
Oh!
The thing that threw me off, too, was it looked like it was a safe place she was singing
It probably was that just
It
redressed.
probably was. Yeah, it probably was. But I thought, I was like, why is she in safe space singing at the bar? So, that's why I thought it was an alternate universe or weird, not real thing first.
What did you think of Madeleine Mantock's singing voice?
It's fine. I guess it was more just laughing at the "Forget You" lyrics.
What are the? I know I've heard the "Forget You" version of it before. What do they say when they're saying the N-word? Because they changed that too, right? How do they change like Gold Digger to rhyming with something else that's not that?
I don't know. Jury rigger.
Jury rigger. Not much bigger. Yeah, so this is her first inkling that she has demon powers. So she goes home, her dad's yelling at her, and it's actually the guy who was, not to mention Buffy, but put it on your bingo card. The guy who played Riley's best friend in season 4, who gets turned into a demon Frankenstein of sorts.
Yeah.
He was also Hawkins on Heroes. It seems weird that he's playing her dad, but I mean, I guess those things happened a while ago, so he'd be old enough to be the dad of... what is she supposed to be, like, late teens, early 20s, something like that?
Yeah, I'm guessing she's supposed to be a teen here. Otherwise, it'd be a little weird if she was in her 20s and he's still like, you're up drinking?
I guess. Yeah, well, he's mad because she's going out drinking a lot and not, like, focusing on one thing in her studies. He thinks she's just kind of pissing her life away, I guess. She tells him about the fire coming out of her hands, and he's like, it sounds like you were drinking a lot. Anyway, why don't you lay down? I'm gonna go make a call. Don't listen in.
Yeah. It's happening! The thing we feared! It's happening now! Get the Macy emergency kit!
Hey, you know that new daughter you were looking for? Well, listen to this!
Okay, don't listen to that. Can you sing the Forget You song again, Macy?
I don't wanna know. Yeah, so he's talking to her mom. Back with Harry, he hears Macy's cell phone go off, and he doesn't know what a phone is, or not that kind of phone, so he's kind of fumbling with it, like,
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah, it makes sense. If he's supposed to be a guy, I guess he'd be out of time if he has none of his memories past Jimmy.
Yeah, this is the kind of amnesia stuff I'm fine with. It's not just, like, pointless drama for the sake of drama. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, alright, I guess he is kind of like, what? It's Jordan who's calling because of a thing with Maggie that happens in their plot. And he hears Harry freaking out. He's like, there's a woman on the floor. I don't know what to do. Help me out. So I don't know what the accent turned into there. But
Jordan's like, I'll be right there. And he lets himself borrow his first aid kit. I was really surprised.
the legendary first aid kit comes into play. And he's like, if you see any spit, leave it on the floor. I'm going to take it. I need to retribution. So he shows up to help out. Macy's not breathing, and Harry doesn't remember how to heal. So Jordan's trying to resuscitate her. And as Jordan's doing this, he's currently giving her CPR, but also notices a cut behind Harry's ear. I don't know how he noticed this. And he's like, well, you see that cut behind your ear? It's probably the faction. They probably implanted something, and then we need to cut it out. And like, he jumps to a lot of conclusions here.
He's super competent all of a sudden. It's like, yeah, Jordan, he can do all these things now.
I mean, like the last time we saw Harry, he was in that tube and they shoved it through the portal and blasted it open. The glass could have cut him behind the ear. Like, they get lots of different cuts, like just fighting things. So I don't know why automatically he jumps to, they implanted something and we need to cut it out and this will help somehow.
Yeah, it is a bit of a stretch.
Well, simultaneously doing CPR, it's like a million things happening all at once with Jordan, Detective Jordan here.
At least if he's going to be hyper competent, it validates his existence rather than being creeper who never gets properly reprimanded for being a creep.
Jordan, like, he was the guy who, like, saved the day in all of these plots, basically. Like, he was involved with, like, the Maggie thing, and he's involved with this, and, like, he's the only one, like, accomplishing real things in this episode.
Harry and Macy kind of do by the end.
Yeah, this whole, like, all of a sudden he's, like, super competent, and he can do everything, too. Like, studies law, does the boxing, does medical stuff. He's every profession that they need him to be at whatever moment.
Yeah.
How did he have time to do all of this?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna turn into a big Gary Stu and save the day all the time.
And he's sensitive. Ooh. Take out that first aid kit, yes. We didn't know until we were looking this up the other day. I was trying to find a good thumbnail picture for the last episode that we did, and I didn't know that Jordan Donica, who plays Jordan, I didn't know that he did like Broadway stuff and like actually has talent. He was in productions of Hamilton, even.
They hit it well for a while.
It's so sad, right? Like, they do have talented people on this cast. I think we probably don't give them enough credit, but I feel like this show does them a big disservice a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. They have to show it sometimes, I think, but yeah, sometimes they're saddled with some pretty awful dialogue.
But I'm glad that Jordan is becoming more tolerable. I do think they need to address some things with him rather than just brushing that off. The fact that his girlfriend's not addressed at all. The fact that he's been a major asshole in a lot of episodes. So I think they need to address this. Mm-hmm. As he's like reviving Macy, I think he's like, "Yeah, man, I almost hit her that one time. I really fucking hated her guts."
Yeah. So their house is still hidden. Like, did they give Jordan like the magic key so he can get to the house, or is it just invisible until you walk up to the porch and then
I think there's probably been a bunch of people who walked over there and then ran into something invisible, like what?
Yeah, it's like Star Trek 4, I think, when someone runs into the cloaked bird of prey sitting in the park.
Oh yeah. Right? It's got to be exactly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Jordan can get there. I guess I don't know why they wouldn't tell him how to get in there. I mean, Harry can't have told him. He didn't even remember any of this, and like Jordan didn't know that he had amnesia until he was talking to him then, so I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Macy's flashbacks. Her dad shows up with her mom, hidden behind a curtain.
Yeah, this is to get around that if she looks at Macy, she'll die or whatever.
Yeah, apparently they can touch, because they, like, hold hands through the, like, sheets they have up.
But, like, Macy tries to storm through and see her mother first, and she's like, no, don't do that again! I can't see you because of the necromancer, or whatever. But it's just like, why didn't stupid Marisol also put a magic barrier behind the curtain? Like, what an idiot. Oh, it's just life and death. Oh, I think a curtain's all we need for this. Yeah, just get a curtain.
What if, like, if she saw her silhouette, it still counted? What if she just saw a picture of her and it still counted? Like, oh, you looked at her?
Yeah, she's really playing loose and fancy free with this.
What if she just died like this, and then, like, Mel and Maggie are, like, crying little babies because their mom died to go see their sister they didn't know about? It was like, I thought a sheet would work. She's like, this is the necromancer's rules. Can't see each other. You need to clamp down on these emotions. Bottle it in. Peace out.
Yeah, this was so pointless. Like, I mean, it might have meant something if Macy'd remembered, but I mean, as we're watching this, we're like, this didn't happen because this didn't make any sense with Macy's backstory. And then Harry flashes in behind the curtain and she's like, wipe her memory. And it's just like, what's the point of giving her a heartfelt speech about, you know, being your mother and these are your powers, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, take that away from her.
Yeah, well, and how would any of it make sense when she's like, oh, I repressed my emotions because of this and they helped me or whatever? It's like, well, if you didn't remember it, then why would you remember their advice to repress your emotions and get a handle on this?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense.
No, if you don't remember it, you don't remember it. It doesn't help you in any way. It's gone.
Like, what a fucking asshole thing to do. Be like, we told you all about this, and then, like, we're gonna wipe your mind. And the demon power thing doesn't make any sense either. I thought she started showing the demon powers because she was slowly starting to turn into a demon. That's why she couldn't, like, feel things and all that. Like, back when the plot was that, like, they found out that Macy was part demon and she was becoming more demonic as they went along.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I thought that's how she developed her flame powers.
I think so, yeah.
No, I don't like this thing with Harry either. He shows up like she met Harry before she met Harry. And then, like, retroactively, they say at the end, oh, she must have wiped Harry's mind too, and so that's why he didn't remember it. And it's like, you guys are just guessing there. Why don't you ask him, hey, Harry, do you remember this?
But also,
they're just assuming.
It felt like a line to clunkily try and make it make sense with him too, because it's like, okay, clearly Harry hadn't have met her either before the series, so we have to say Marisol also wiped his memory. And
if she could just wipe his memory, why didn't they cut the middleman?
Because
just
she can't look
memory
at Macy.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's stupid, but I mean, it was clearly a clunky line because they wrote this and they're like, wait a second. Why wouldn't Harry remember this? Okay, then Marisol wiped his memory too.
If they could do this the whole time, if Marisol or witches or whatever could just wipe memories, why, like, I guess Harry could do it the whole time too. Why didn't they do that to Nico before? When she was in danger, they had to, like, rewrite history?
Because the elders are dicks.
Oh.
And, like, especially
I think they had some
Marisol.
reason why they couldn't do it, but
I don't know.
I think it was just they just wanted her out of their life entirely. I don't know.
Just want her out of her life entirely.
Get Nico out of here.
Like, oh, stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if Harry knew, and again, they just say that. They don't know that. They don't ask Harry about it. He gives no indication that he doesn't remember that or anything. Like, they just guess.
Well, besides everything he's ever done at the beginning.
Nothing makes sense if you think about what's happened in the past and what hasn't.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, though, because Marisol seems like she'd roofie a bunch of people to cover up her stupid deeds.
Yeah, but you can't just have the girls guess that's what happened and then say that it must be true because they guessed.
Uh-huh.
Like, they didn't, if he'd said, I don't remember, and then they said, like, oh, Marisol must have done that or whatever, then it would be like, okay, that's an educated guess. But they just say that because the show needs you to think it's okay and it makes sense. Because otherwise, he knew about the demon thing all along. He knew about all this other shit and, like, endangered her by, like, not letting her remember and all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bit unsavory to me. I don't like it.
It's stupid. And also just because Marisol wipes everyone's minds, it means she risked her death and all this stuff to visit her behind a curtain for nothing. It's like, Macy, you might die from this, but it's worth it because I'm going to wipe your memory and you won't remember it.
Yeah. I don't think Macy will die. I think it's just Marisol because they had
Is it just her?
Yeah, because they had that what if thing with the source, and then she went to see her mom and she immediately died. But either way, it just seems pointless if you're going to wipe her mind. Like,
yeah.
It was just supposed to be subconsciously she knew that she had to repress her emotions. It just doesn't, I don't know how this works.
It doesn't.
In the present day, Jordan is attacking Harry with a butter knife. I'm gonna cut that thing out, and I'm like, whoa, buddy.
He's like, do it for Macy.
Yeah, he's got like the little thing on his at his work desk that says "Do it for her," and then pictures of Macy.
Do it for Macy. Yeah. He's like, oh, you cut me up.
Yeah, so he cuts it out from behind his ear, which apparently makes him remember everything. So what, this was supposed to be a memory suppression device or something?
Apparently, yeah. Maybe.
I thought it was because they were just, like, sucking out his powers or something. It sucked out part of his essence or something.
I don't know.
I don't know what the point of taking
saying.
His memory away was, if they were just going to keep him in a tube and then take his powers till he died or whatever.
Yeah, that is pointless. I mean, I guess just in case he got away, he wouldn't know what to do or be able to use his powers.
Seems like there are better ways to do this.
Probably.
He heals Macy, and they try to orb out to help Mel and Maggie in their plot, but he's like, oh, I must have a green poison of plot convenience. I can't go.
Can't orb again.
Can't do it.
We can't enter their plot. They're on their
that
own.
would require people to have to do things together.
I do
Mel
like
and Maggie do.
Wait, I like that there's a long sequence though after Harry, is okay after Jordan cuts up his ear and he heals up Macy. They're like having this conversation. Jordan's just standing there behind them, kind of out of focus, like, like, I have nothing to add anymore. My part of the plot's over.
My job is done. My planet needs me.
But he doesn't even get to vanish. He just stands there awkwardly.
Becomes a potted plant in the background.
Just expect Harry and Macy to turn and see him. Oh, are you still here?
They look like that meme of those like judgmental girls at a party. Like, guys, I helped. Shut up. No one likes you, Jordan.
Yeah, weren't you leaving?
You can go hang out with Galvin. This is basically replacement Galvin anyway. So let's talk about Mel and Maggie's plot.
Let's not. The end.
Let's not. All right. So Mel and Maggie are like, we got to find some stuff out about the faction. This is going to help out. And so Mel's like, oh, I've been talking to Dad this whole time. Let's go talk to Dad. He'll have some info. And Maggie's like pissed off about this, that she's been talking to their dad without talking to her. She starts zoning out. She starts like freaking out and blurring and all these like her like point of view. Like she can't stand upright and she's like, oh, I think I'm dying.
Mm-hmm.
So Mel takes her to the bunker. And like to like help her out, and she gets a text from their dad, and Maggie's like, oh, I'm feeling better from that whole dying thing. Sorry about that. And Mel's like, well, I guess this seems fine. Well, I'm gonna go see Dad. If you start dying again, let me know. Bye. Like they reveal later that it's a panic attack. But they don't know that. Like, Maggie thinks that this is some magical poison or something or other, and, like, Mel doesn't really know what it is either. So she just thinks, oh, she's dying, but she said that she's better, so bye.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It bothered me that they somehow managed to turn panic attacks into a selfish-seeming thing for Maggie. It's like, how did they make panic attacks seem selfish? It's like, Maggie is having these because she's so upset that Mel is good with their dad now. Even though
she's the one that wanted her to be good with her dad before.
She was the one complaining at Mel when she wasn't good with her dad, and it's like, oh wait, now they're close, I'm mad.
Yeah, real Phoebe move, huh?
Yeah. It's just like,
I want the opposite of whatever you want.
pretty much. And it should be the opposite if we're doing this, because Maggie was the closer one with him, but they wanted to drop in some references finally to the fact that, he wasn't her birth father in this episode, but this is so clunky.
Yeah, this show's really bad about addressing things in the moment. This seems like oh shit, we didn't address this then. So it seems to come out of nowhere, Maggie's reaction to this, when it should have happened like ages ago.
Yeah.
It's like the show's been waiting ages to actually start this season.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, I don't like where they go with the whole, like, with Maggie being selfish about it, but I do like the aspects of the story that she's having panic attacks. She doesn't remember having panic attacks before, and Jordan's helping her out.
We.
Yeah, neither do we. But Jordan is helping her out with this, and he realizes what this is because of his medical experience. He's helping out.
More competent Jordan. Doo doo.
Well, he mentions he worked with a lot of soldiers too. And like, so he's had a lot of experience with like PTSD, flashbacks, panic attacks, stuff like that. And she thinks like, oh, this must be some magical poison or something. Like, no, this isn't it. No, because I'm stronger than that. I wouldn't have a panic attack. That's not me. And I do like that they address something somewhat real that she's trying to place into this magic box. Yeah,
he says like, when she's saying, oh no, it's this magic thing, he's like, oh, that gives you all the symptoms of a panic attack. And he's like,
I mean, it could have been something magic that kind of did that.
It's possible.
but
I mean, I did kind of like that too. And I like that he says like, you're not weak just because you had a panic attack and stuff like that.
It was nice that they addressed mental health a little bit in this, and they weren't flippant about it either.
Mm-hmm. It's just really poorly executed for the most part, because
well, the follow-up to it, why she's having the panic attacks, which isn't to dismiss, like, you could have a panic attack over anything, but a lot of her issues in this episode seem very delayed and a little bit selfish.
Yeah, it just comes off like she's really upset that Mel and her dad are getting along.
Yeah. And I don't like that Mel and her dad are just, like, super cool now. They seem like a little too chummy.
It's way too much. I mean, you can't just get over something like him being a neglectful dad for all your life that quick.
Yeah, it seems like it's just whatever they want for the episode is whoever's getting along with him at the moment.
Yeah. And like, we could have had a story about him eventually repairing his relationship with his daughters, but I mean, you can't just be like, oh, I showed up once, so now we're texting and it's all cool. We're playing games together, or mobile games.
They've had a little bit, because they had the thing when he showed up at that party, and him and Mel have the plot together where they're kind of sorting out their issues. But it shouldn't be this chummy, this quick.
Yeah.
You could have them be like, oh, they get along now, or they're kind of friendly, but to get to this point that they're like playing games together and all this other stuff, it just feels like a little too quick on that.
Well, I mean, and part of Mel's issues with him too was she was more upset because of him being neglectful towards Maggie.
Yeah.
And like, he hasn't done anything to fix that.
That's true. The fact that Mel's acting like, what's the big deal? Like, maybe you know what the big deal is, because it used to be a big deal to you.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been doing some reconnaissance stuff, looking up stuff about the faction. So Mel shows up with their dad. Mel asks him about the 40 stones parasite, whatever. And he figures out, or maybe Maggie might have figured this out. Someone figures this out anyway, that this is something that Harry was misremembering or mishearing, because they think this 40 stones parasite thing is like something in Brazil, and they go there, but they come back and it wasn't. It was actually Easton Power Site. Fort Easton Power Site. That's what it was. Fort Easton Power Site, which is by a dam. So they head over there, and Mel and Ray are talking about like gaming. They're just like, yeah, we played that game together. Really fun. We're cool. We're the best. Really lay it in. Isn't it great to be the best father-daughter combo ever? Right, Maggie? Huh? Right, Maggie? Isn't it great how chummy we are? Look, here's some selfies we've taken together.
Speaking of selfies, time to be selfish. Panic attack!
Yeah, she starts having a panic attack just as they see some like guards by this dam. So
this should be about me.
Yeah, this is a bad time to be getting into this, and Mel even says that. Like, she's like, this isn't the right time. Maggie's like, yes, it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They do some more retroactive continuity, though. Like, Ray's like, oh, you remember there's this doctor that you used to visit for therapy and then used to have, like, panic attacks and stuff? Yeah, that's what that was all about.
Mm-hmm.
That's something at least you could say she was too young to remember, and doesn't really, like, it doesn't drastically change the story of the show. So that one, I think, was all right.
Yeah, except for the fact we've never seen Maggie have anything to do with a panic attack before, so if this is a recurring thing with her, it's kind of odd.
Well, I mean, you could have repressed things that cause panic attacks. It doesn't necessarily have to be continuous through your life, I don't think.
No, but I mean, he's just acting like it's been a continuous thing, and we've never seen it, so it just kind of seems odd that way.
Well, he was saying it like this was something that she used to do as a kid, and that's why he was explaining it to her. I don't know.
Okay.
But she's very pissed off about everything, and she gets so pissed she shoots purple out of her hands and makes the guards angry fight.
Yeah, it's like the hate plague at the end of Transformers.
Let the hate flow through you.
And she's like, wow, Maggie, you just got a new power. The power of hate. Wonderful.
Yeah. Glad she gained the power of hate. She has to be the opposite of Phoebe, you see. Hate was her true power all along.
Don't ask Maggie. It's her new column.
Mind Your Own Business by Maggie Vera.
Just her on the billboard, like, flipping you off.
I wouldn't have guessed that Maggie would be the one to get hate powers at the beginning of the show. I really would have thought it'd be Mel.
Yeah, that seemed much more of a Mel thing.
Really subverted her expectations. So they break into this dam, and some guy comes up to them. He's like, how'd you get in here? Oh, you're here for the dam demo, right? I did like the line with Ray where he's like, yeah, I heard a lot about this dam.
Yeah.
Not funny. Impressed.
That's when they see Soundwave and they're making Energon cubes.
Yeah. Quick, use your hate powers.
Yeah.
They get taken to a secret area that has a bunch of underwater pods. Dun dun dun! Why do we keep getting scenes in Charmed of them finding pods with things in it like it's always shocking?
I don't know.
How many pod reveal scenes do we need in a season?
I was thinking there's going to be a bunch of Alice clones in all the pods.
Bunch of Smallville Lana clones.
Yeah. The extra pointless clones that you just blow up and you're like, I faked my death by blowing up my clone. Killing your clone, still murder, Lana. Going to jail.
Oh my god.
Odo arrests her.
Oh my god.
I'm in need of a guilt remover spell.
Okay, so who showed up? Was it the faction or was it just another group?
I don't know. It just seemed like Julian and his posse.
Right.
I mean, Jesse.
Led by Carman!
Carman! He's like, I noticed that I took the detour down Villain Lane.
You either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And I didn't see this coming because I wasn't checking my rearview mirror. Should have had my signal on, so you would have known I was coming.
Put your emergency brake lights on because Carman's here.
Grind everything to a halt.
Cause he's a Carman. He's the villain now. He's teamed up with the Joker.
You know what's in those pods? Super fuel. And as long as the Decepticons don't steal it, I'll be the most powerful car man in the world.
He's a car man and he's the villain now. He's teamed up with the Walker and he's got some evil parts. He's a car man, his powers are very vague. You never will defeat him unless his engine dies with age.
Does this when the Woker shows up and does the car dance?
Yeah.
It's like the bat dance, but... Maggie says, everyone knows the handsome billionaire is always the bad guy.
He goes, whoa, the mysterious Maggie.
He says, hello, losers.
Didn't know you were going to be here.
You know what? I called it when his character first showed up. I said no billionaire becomes that ethically. I knew he was going to be a villain all along. They portal out of there. And he goes like, oh, Macy. He's pretty bummed out that they're going to go tell on him.
Yeah. And they're like, you know what? Safe space isn't safe anymore. What are we going to call the next episode?
Unsafe space. Come on.
And then Swan's going to be evil. She's going to have been a spy for Carman the whole
We have
time.
not seen her in forever. Did she
know.
die? What happened?
Maybe.
Were they like, this character's embarrassing. We're not going to bring her back anymore.
Sick of this shit. Her and her gushers.
Yeah, we didn't have any product placement, so she has no place here. Get ready for the triple whammy wrap-up. Just one after the other. Poo, poo, poo. So we get all the girls together. Macy's pretty introspective about this whole thing. And she's got a cool robe on. She is not upset at Harry, which I thought she would be. I kind of didn't know what her emotion was supposed to be until she's just like, yeah, he really helped me out. Maybe we were destined to be together. Him and Mom helped me to protect me from myself. How great is this? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should ask him if he remembers this before you start being
I think
thankful.
she should be angry at Marisol again, too, for this. It's just like,
Yeah.
wait, so she came and talked to me and took it away from me, and then I thought, the only thing she had about her mother was that she abandoned her and, never got to speak to her before she died. So, Macy should have been kind of upset about this.
Yeah, this should not be a positive experience.
No. It's like,
They
we're
violated her mind and told her to repress her emotions and all this other shit.
Like, Maggie brings up to her dad, Ray, at one point, it sucks that Mom cheated on you and stuff. But so it's like, I don't know. I feel like the show keeps admitting Marisol does horrible things, but then they're like, oh, she's pretty great, isn't she?
Well, I mean, someone could do terrible things, but also do good things. But I don't think
She
this
could,
was a good
but
thing.
she's nothing. I don't like that we acknowledge she does bad things and then ignore it, though, too. It's like, yeah, she does bad things anyway. She's like a saint.
Whatever happened to women supporting women, Phelan?
Was it the last episode or one before that where, Mel admitted to Abigail that her mom wasn't always so great. She's done a lot of shitty things. Yeah. And then this episode we're back to Marisol the Great.
Well, Marisol, they also talk about her cheating, so it's kind of both.
Yeah, but that's kind of glanced over again.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have helped if Macy had at least had some mixed feelings. But she doesn't have to be black or white, but I feel like they just keep acting like she was good when she's an elder and she was part of the Dick Brigade.
Yeah, that's very true. We also get the Maggie wrap up where she talks to her dad that you were talking about. They finally do address the fact that he didn't tell her that he knew about her not being his biological daughter, which seems very late in the game to mention this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice that they did. He says, like, basically, I didn't say it because it didn't matter to me. Like, I love you no matter what. And, you know, that was nice.
That was nice, yeah. It's like, I wanted to neglect you just like I did my own flesh and blood daughter. Yeah. Neglected you both just the same.
Just the same. By the way, how's Nico, who I remember for some reason? Maybe Harry needed to talk to him about, like, keeping memories that are wiped, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I know all about that.
Yeah, they try to wipe my memory, never sticks.
Then we go to the Harry Macy wrap up. Harry's standing out in their hidden TARDIS backyard, and Macy comes out and starts just dancing because she has clarity, the dance of clarity.
Yeah, she can see clearly now.
Yeah. The stupid plot is gone. And they dance together and finally get to the damn point.
Yeah.
And she goes, I love how you wipe my memory so I could repress my emotions for much of my adult life. Hooray!
Wiped memories for all!
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about... I do like that they got to the point because I think they've been dragging their asses about this for, like, way too long. But, I don't know how I feel about them getting there with the whole memory wipe thing.
Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like that was a super big deal about why they get together in the end. I think.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're not like pussyfooting around with Abigail anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and it was pointless. In the end, it was pointless because they didn't even like break it off on screen. It was just sort of like, I guess that didn't work out anyway.
Yeah, really weird. Thought it was going to be like, in a way, I'm happy, but I feel like there should have been a resolution at least in some way. But
yeah, it's the they don't give payoffs to even crappy storylines, which. It's good that we're not doing that anymore because it's a crappy storyline, but you do need to give it some sort of finish or it's a waste of time. And that's what the Abigail Harry thing was.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was the end of the episode. Did you like it?
Not really. I guess I liked that the amnesia thing ended. I liked Jordan being useful, sort of. I like that we're finally moving on with the Harry Macy thing. I don't know why we need to explore that pointless backstory in her past, though. That was useless. I feel like there's something with the Maggie storyline and her panic attacks, but they also seemed really selfish, which was an odd thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting... like, leaving the Ray, it was not her bio dad till this long was a mistake. They needed to get that actor back and address that a lot quicker than they did.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they were listening to some feedback. Maybe some people were like, hey, maybe talk about this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but that might be giving them too much credit. I'm not sure they listened to feedback, but...
Yeah. Like, and I feel like, you know... I feel like it should have just still been flip-flop, you know, that Maggie's still really tight with him, and Mel is maybe upset by it or something. Like, I feel like it made no sense for Mel to be all buddy-buddy with Ray.
And also to not recognize how upset this was making Maggie, or why it would be upsetting to her. It just seemed very...
Yeah. Like, and that was her whole storyline in this arc, was the fact she was upset for her sister.
Yeah. And now, like, she's fine. I think the show is steering in a better direction because they're not like powerless dinking around with stupid Abigail for, ages and ages. It's only been like maybe 5 episodes that are worth a damn in this entire season. It's just been dire. This episode I liked mostly. I liked that they addressed some stuff about mental health. They did talk about Maggie's issues with her dad. I don't like that they waited that long for it, or the stuff with Mel like you were talking about. I like that with Harry and Macy they got to the point, because it was just it wasn't good drama keeping them apart. It was all just like, why is this happening? Why are you dragging your feet about this? Like, it just seems like filler.
Mm-hmm.
Or like he has to be really stupid with the Abigail thing, and it all felt kind of unsavory and gross, and I didn't like that in particular. The Harry amnesia stuff did not really annoy me, because it did seem to sort of serve a purpose here, kind of re-exploring like what Macy means to him.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't prolong it. I don't like the retroactive continuity stuff, because that doesn't sit well with me.
I don't know why we had to say anyway that Maggie had panic attacks in the past, because just because you have a panic attack doesn't mean you always have them or anything like that. So it just seemed weird that we even had to add that she had them a lot as a kid.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to say, like it was bringing her back to that place that she was as a child in her feelings toward her dad. Even though she liked her dad when she was younger.
Good with him. She's the one who had like the fogged memory of him, like viewing him as a better person than he was, because Mel would cover for him sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true. She was talking about how part of the reason she was so upset in this episode was because people keep lying to her, thinking that she's not strong enough to stand up to this stuff. And, the fact that he lied to protect her, Mel lied to protect her. Everyone's lying to her, and she just wants people to be straight.
And if we'd had a better story that told like that people were not being upfront with her because they didn't think she's strong enough, then it wouldn't have felt so awkward. Like
they've done this through the whole season, though.
Uh-huh.
That's why, like, when they did the, they face their fears and then she sees a baby in the mirror or whatever, because everyone's treating me like I'm a kid. She's been doing that the entire season. Uh-huh. I think that's, it's a big issue that, like, this show throughout the season, consistently, and throughout the season 1 too as well, but mostly through the season, it's been like, what are the girls afraid of? They were afraid of blank. And then they will state it multiple times. In each episode, it's supposed to be a revelation, but it's always the same thing. Mm-hmm. And they're not, like, moving forward or exploring it in a different kind of way. Mm-hmm. If they had done this thing, at least Maggie talking to her dad is addressing something else within the show. It's not just the same stuff. But they do talk about these things a lot. They gotta face their fears. What are their fears? This. And then the next episode, we gotta face our fears. What is it? The same thing we talked about last episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very repetitious.
I mean, I guess another positive is I do kind of like the actor who plays their dad. He's kind of funny at times. But it's
I like him.
They need to come up with some better stories, I guess, and have him have something that makes more sense for him to have repaired his relationship with Mel.
Yeah, he's at least doing something, and he is trying to make amends. So it's going somewhere with it. It just is a little bit confused, like much of the season.
Yeah, I don't think they brought up at all in this episode how neglectful he was, which was the whole storyline with him before.
Yeah, I think they alluded to it a little bit, but it wasn't at the forefront.
Yeah, it wasn't addressed much.
Yeah, so overall, what even happened last week? Did I like it better than last week? What was last week's? Oh, Search Party. Well, I guess they're kind of on even ground. I liked that last week's all right. It was going somewhere. It didn't feel super gross. Or boring. This episode, I don't think this episode felt boring either, so that's a plus that it wasn't boring. It's kind of sad how low the bar is, but...
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say it's boring, but parts of it in the end are pointless, like the flashback. It's like,
some character stuff was fine. The overall plot of why they were doing whatever they were doing, it's again drawn out like a lot of the season, because really all it was plot-wise is they find Julian. They already knew Julian was the bad guy, but they find him at this like pod thing at the dams, and like finding pods with monsters and stuff isn't even new this season, so they didn't really accomplish anything there other than, I guess, finding another hideout that they have. The only thing really that moved forward was the Harry Macy storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else to note? Are we wrapping up?
I think we're good.
We're good. Okay. Enough pussyfooting around, dragging it out like Charmed. If you guys enjoyed our long rambling session, I'd appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, or review on whatever platform you're listening to this on. You can find us in audio form at anchor.fm under Charmed Hard with a Vengeance or Charmed Rewind. On YouTube, youtube.com/movie nights the series, or you can watch Phelan's stuff at youtube.com/Felix. You can support us on Patreon, get early access to videos or polls or things like that. I'm at patreon.com/movie nights. Phelan's at patreon.com/Felix. Thanks to Peter for editing for us, and also for doing the Carman theme, which you can find on SoundCloud. You can find him on Twitter at PretorHunter. What hashtags? Hashtag when Harry met Macy.
Again?
Yeah. Did we say that before?
No, I just mean because when they met each other again.
Oh, hashtag when Harry met Macy again. I see.
Hashtag Carman villain.
Good. Hashtag Hashtag the hero Gotham needs.
Hashtag Jordan.
Hashtag George Binks.
George Binks.
Alright guys, that's it. We'll see you Charmanders for the premature season finale. This will be 2 weeks from now, I believe. 2 weeks from now, the premature season finale of Charmed. See you guys.
Boy.